Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So, if you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that I just did a home office and desk setup tour of my main desk, but in that one, I didn't really cover my small desk, and that was for two reasons specifically. The first being was just for time reasons, and the second reason is just because I didn't really think you guys would find my small desk setup all that interesting, but well, I'm gonna bite the bullet and do a video about it anyway. So if you guys end up enjoying this video, please let me know down in the comments below. Also, just so I don't end up repeating myself again, I'm gonna be focusing in this video on the small desk setup and its immediate surroundings, but I will link my overall home office tour and my main desk setup video in the description below. Of course, before we get started, if you've ever seen one of my desk setup videos before, then you know exactly what I'm about to say next. When it comes to home office and desk setups, it's easy to go down a rabbit hole of buying things you just don't need. If you're already happy with your setup, then you've already won the game. For me, keep in mind that I create tech videos for YouTube, and I've had the privilege of working from home full-time for the last several years, so my home office and desk setup is a reflection of just that. This video isn't meant to be an advertisement. It's simply me sharing my setup with you. If something catches your eye, great, but only buy it when and if it makes sense for you. Please remember that none of the items that I show you in this video are necessary for you to be productive, and certainly none of the items that I show you are necessary to buy. I started working from home at the kitchen table with nothing more than a laptop and an old 1080p external monitor, gradually improving my setup over the years. Always take your time upgrading your desk setup, and please only purchase products when it's reasonable for you to do so. With that, let's dive into the video. The foundation to any desk setup is, of course, the desk. I'm still using the Ergonoffice Sway Desk in the walnut finish. It measures 48 inches wide and 24 inches deep, and the beautiful walnut has lasted me well over the years. It has some scuff marks from general wear and tear, which in my opinion adds a bit of character to the desk. The desk uses Ergonoffice's swipe technology that lets you raise and lower the desk with, you guessed it, the swipe of a finger. You can configure 2 pre-saved heights for 4 different users, so it makes a great shared desk in the home. I also added the cable management solution from Ergonoffice, which comes with a power adapter and makes the entire setup really convenient. Last, I recently added the cable net, which keeps all the cables tucked in neatly underneath. As a tip, if casters are available for the desk and fit within your budget, get them. They make refactoring things later on a lot easier if you need to get behind your desk, and you will need to get behind your desk every now and then. The desk might be the setup's foundation, but in my opinion, it's not the most important piece to your setup. That would be your chair. This setup uses the Aeron Remastered, and it's a fantastic chair. It has a breathable 8Z pellicle mesh material on both the seat and the backrest, which gives it a sleek and lightweight appearance. The mesh is divided into 8 distinct zones, such as the thoracic and lumbar zones, and the zones vary in tension, providing targeted support and pressure distribution. It has adjustable lumbar support, a forward tilt mechanism, and some of the nicest armrests for any chair on the market. Honestly, there's nothing like leaning back in an Aeron. Under the desk is the Ergofoam footrest because no matter how good your chair is, a good footrest helps in further reducing pressure on your legs, hips, and spine. It can also help alleviate pressure off your lower back and improve your overall posture. Last, it can encourage you to make little micro adjustments in posture, which can improve your circulation. Unlike my main desk, which uses my gaming PC, I do things a bit differently on my smaller desk. Let's first talk about the Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is a single board computer that runs a Linux distro called Raspberry Pi OS, formerly known as Raspbian. It's effectively a single board computer that uses very little power and can literally run 24/7. The Pi has a lot of uses, from serving as a tiny file server, a home automation hub, or even as a dedicated music streamer. I use mine primarily for 2 reasons. First is to run RetroPie, which is an open source project that sits on top of Raspberry Pi OS and turns your Pi into a mini retro gaming console. I also use it to to run Samba, which is a small, always-on file sharing service. Effectively, it's a mini NAS that I use to access common files that I need over my home network. It's fairly straightforward to set up and is a neat little first project with the Pi. I also use my 2023 MacBook Pro at this desk with the M2 Max chip. It's been my main workhorse since the day I bought it and is where I did all of my previous software engineering work, as well as now all of my video editing and general content creation. It's still extremely fast at whatever I need it to do, especially editing and encoding 4K footage. When at the desk, it sits inside the Grove-made laptop dock with the same walnut finish as the desk. While it doesn't always sit on my desk, I often bring my MSI Claw 8 AI Plus and plug it in. While obviously being a great handheld device, another great thing about the Claw 8 is that it doubles as a mini gaming PC. Without going too deep into the weeds on the Claw 8 in this video, it uses Intel's new Lunar Lake SoC, on which sits the extremely efficient 258V processor and Arc 140V Battlemage GPU. Add in those 32 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM running at 8533 megatransfers per second, and I can play games like Alien Isolation at as much as 30 to 60 frames per second at 4K with no upscaling, since the MSI Claw 8 has 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. The last thing that I have sitting on the desk at all times is my original Nintendo Switch. Aside from PC games, I like playing first-party Nintendo titles at the desk as well, so I have the Switch dock connected directly to the monitor, and it sits at the top right corner of the desk. Whether it's the Pi, the laptop, the Claw 8, or the Switch, the monitor that I use for all of them is still the LG 32GQ950B. This is a 4K 32-inch nano IPS display with a max refresh rate of 144 Hz at a standard 16:9 aspect ratio. It can technically overclock to 160 Hz, but that's only with DisplayPort. It supports AMD FreeSync Premium Pro and is also G-Sync compatible, with a peak SDR brightness of 392 nits and an HDR peak brightness of 1012 nits, albeit with only 32 local dimming zones, so it's not the greatest HDR panel. However, it does have good DCI-P3 coverage at 98%, and everything looks crispy at 137 ppi. While it's not an OLED, this panel still looks great, and because it's an IPS, it's more suited to productivity tasks without the risk of burn-in, like writing scripts, video editing, and writing code. As a side note, I do know that OLED tech continues to improve, so if you guys know of any good OLED/QD OLED panels that are good for not just gaming, but also make a good productivity sidekick, please let me know down in the comments below. The monitor is held in the air by the Amazon Basics monitor arm, which is essentially a rebranded Ergotron arm. For what I paid here, I like it a lot. It can handle panels up to 25 pounds, is simple to put together, and offers an easy way to manage your cables coming out of the monitor with a small area to route your cables through. As a tip, using a monitor arm frees up valuable desk space underneath it because it doesn't require its stand and feet, and it also gives you more configuration options so you can dial in your ergonomics the way you like it. In my opinion, one of the best tech items you can invest in for a desk setup is a light bar. On top of the monitor is the BenQ Screen Bar Halo, which is great at lighting the desk in front of me and helping with eye strain. On the back of the Halo is a light that's intended to provide some ambience behind the monitor to reduce eye strain. It has a dedicated Bluetooth control pad that lets you adjust brightness, temperature, and favorite settings. It also has an auto dimming feature, which is nice. On top of the Halo is the Anker C200 webcam, a 2K webcam with low light support, noise canceling technology, and a built-in mic. Honestly, for its price, it's pretty good value. It has an on-off toggle on top, which opens and closes the lens for privacy. I spend a lot of time in calls, so having a webcam for this setup is important. Sitting under the monitor and beside the Pi is the CalDigit TS4 dock, which supports Thunderbolt 4, so it makes a great sidekick to the MacBook. In fact, I rely on the TS4 a lot with my workflow. Because it's full bandwidth Thunderbolt 4, anything I plug in, whether it's my MacBook or MSI Claw 8, it can feed my monitor without the dock itself bottlenecking the video signal. This thing has 18 ports of connectivity, including several USB-C connections, DisplayPort, and an SD card slot so I can easily transfer footage over for editing. It also comes with some rubber feet attachments, so it prevents some sliding on the desk. On the right side of the keyboard is the Ivanki wireless charging station, which can charge your iPhone, Apple Watch, and AirPods at the same time. The phone charger itself can be flat or flipped up at an angle. It connects via USB-C and has a cool little light that you can toggle between 2 different warmth settings. For max speed charging, you have the option of plugging in an external PD charger of 30 watts or higher. To be honest, this isn't the best charger. For example, it doesn't even work with my Apple Watch Ultra, even though it says it should work with the Apple Watch Ultra, and even if it does, it has other issues like charging things very slowly. Without going into a huge rant on this, I'd stay away from this one. All of the items under the monitor sit on the walnut desk shelf by Grovemade, which matches the desk, and apart from providing vertical space, hides the cables for a cleaner look. Sitting on the desk on either side of the desk shelf are, in my opinion, some of the best budget desktop speakers around, the Creative Pebble V3s. They each have 2¼ inch drivers that have good coverage of low to high frequencies, passive radiators to enhance the low end, and have Bluetooth 5.0. For this setup, both the Pi and my Switch take advantage of the Bluetooth connection. Sitting in front of the desk shelf is my current keyboard of choice for this desk, the Keychron Q3HE, a keyboard that Keychron sent over to me a little while ago. This particular version is using the Nebula Linear Gateron magnetic switch, which are Hall effect switches and have a nice spring-like feel to them. They have an initial start force of 40 grams and an end force of 60 grams. This is an 80% TKL keyboard that has an extremely sturdy build. Seriously, it's built like a tank. It has a dedicated volume wheel, which I appreciate, as well as a dedicated lighting button to change its effects. For ergonomics, I pair the Q3 with the HyperX wrist rest, which is great for higher profile keyboards like this one. I really like the HyperX wrist rest and use it on all of my setups. As a tip, whether or not you are using a wrist rest, it's always a good idea to check your ergonomics by making sure that your arms are parallel to the floor so that your elbows are 90 degrees, your shoulders are relaxed, and your wrists are straight. To the right of the keyboard is still my productivity mouse of choice, the Logitech MX Master 3S. The ergonomic design, 8K DPI sensor, max speed scrolling, and customizable buttons are all nice touches, but my favorite feature is the side-scrolling toggle, which is really useful for video editing. Plus, since it's the S version, it has quiet clicks. I like quiet clicks. Both the keyboard and the mouse sit on top of the special edition Star Wars Obi-Wan desk mat by Orbit Key. It comes in brown and cream colors with the Jedi Order badging on the bottom right, Obi-Wan's blue lightsaber color in the desk tray area for flavor, with the same colored badge also on the bottom right, an area meant to hide papers. Of course, being an Orbit Key mat, it comes with a black cable clip at the top right that magnetically connects to the tray, which is intended to help with cable routing. All in all, it's an elegant desk mat for a more civilized age. Clamped to the left side of the desk is a spring clamp that I use to hold up my headphones. It's a neat little hack that I picked up from watching an MKBHD desk tour. It's cheap, can hold up multiple headphones at once if you want, and the rubberized tips prevent any scuff damage to the desk. Tying both my Raspberry Pi and laptop setups together is the Ugreen USB switch. I've talked about this little product for years at this point, as it's an easy way to share peripherals between both setups, which can be done at the press of a button. I use the Ugreen USB switch on all of my setups, and they have been extremely reliable. This switch also has a 5-volt power jack, so you can feed extra power for hungrier USB devices and avoid dropouts. Yes, of course, KVM switches reduce the need to do the manual input swap on the monitor, but they are generally more expensive, which is why I recommend a USB switch for a simple dual computer setup. Last, to play games on the Pi or even my laptop, I have the wireless Xbox PC controller close by. It works well. For this setup specifically, I have a few lighting pieces that help enhance the overall vibes. Behind the monitor are 2 Philips Hue play bars to add some more bias lighting, which helps, of course, reduce eye strain. And last, wrapping around the back edge of the desk is the Philips Hue light strip to add some more cozy ambience to the overall setup. The last thing that helps enhance a desk setup, in my opinion, are the little personal trinkets and things that you can add to your setup that make the setup unique to you and you alone. On the left side of the desk is my Hot Toys Luke Skywalker collectible in his snowspeeder gear from The Empire Strikes Back. On the desk shelf is my little Stick of Truth Cartman figure because it's Cartman, and it's the stick of truth. On the right side is an IKEA plant, because what desk setup on YouTube would be complete without an IKEA plant? Above the desk are 3 art pieces from a company called Wolf and Rocket. I found them on Etsy some time ago and they make some great pieces. Because of the small space that the desk is in, I positioned them strategically so that the edges of the desk would never touch them as the desk raises. Just something to keep in mind before you mount anything on the wall if you have a standing desk. Last, I have 2 art pieces on the wall close by that were sent to me by Grid Studio some time ago, a company that deconstructs and frames old technology, turning them into beautiful pieces of art. I have both the original Game Boy and N64 controller frames, 2 pieces of technology that are near and dear to me and remind me of my childhood every time I look at them. As usual, let's end this video with some of my closing thoughts on home office and desk setup stuff. Everyone has their own opinions on what makes a great setup. Some people like bright setups, some people like moodier setups, some people are minimalistic, some aren't, and everyone gets their work done in different ways. It goes without saying that having a setup that you feel comfortable and happy in can help you get your work done. But that's really what's at the core of any desk setup: getting work done. Productivity is about your mindset and not about the things that you own. Obviously, if you work from home full time, investing in your home office setup can be a good idea, and having a setup that you're happy in can make you more productive. But it can also take a lot of time, effort, and a lot of money. I'm very lucky to have the things that I have, but I've worked very hard over the years to be able to have them. I also review a lot of the products that I purchase on this channel, so remember that there's added rhyme and reason for me to invest in them in the first place. Building a home office setup that you're proud of isn't a race, it's a journey. So don't try and rush it. If you're thinking of investing in a new work from home setup, my general philosophy is to wait a bit longer and save up for the thing you wanted to buy in the first place. Usually, those things do last longer, and in the long run, you'll end up saving money. If you're just starting out your desk setup journey, good luck, and I hope you build the setup of your dreams. That's about all I have for this one, guys. If you're still here, thank you for your time as always. I do appreciate it. Drop me a Kyber crystal down below, just so I can give you a like for sticking around until the end of the video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Please remember to hit that like button, and please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon so you know when I release new videos. Also, please consider sharing this video if you do think this would be helpful to someone else. I'm also very recently on Patreon, where I plan to post more exclusive and personal behind the scenes content, and I already have a making of video there where I take you behind the scenes on the making of one of my recent Switch 2 videos, and I'm also in the process of making a behind the scenes video of this video that you're watching right now. So if you are interested in any of those behind the scenes and personal content from me, I'll leave all the information to that stuff down in the description box. All of your support though, whether it's here on YouTube or on Patreon, means the world to me and continues to inspire me to create content. I've got more tech, desk setup, and gaming content planned as usual, so please stay tuned for that. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.
We could be everything.